Hey, hello, it's Ed Moses. I just learned about somebody kind of interesting, and I'm trying to think of the best way to share this with you because it's bizarre, but there's a lot of truth to what this man says. Have you ever heard of David Icke? If you haven't, what I'm going to tell you might blow your mind, and what you might want to do when you're done watching this video is go type David Icke in the browser and kind of search for him and see what you think of this man. I was just camping last weekend, okay, and I met with some pretty cool people. We were out there, and one of the things that was brought up, because we started to, this one couple of me, we started to jive on some interests that we had, and one of those interests somehow came into the conversation of this David Icke, and so when I got home, I was really curious. Who is this David Icke? What is this guy about? And so when I had a chance, I got on YouTube, and that's like it seems like the first place I look for anything anymore is YouTube. And I typed the name in, I misspelled it, and it came up. For some reason, must be a lot of people misspell it. It came up still, but Icke is spelled I-C-K-E. It's different. I didn't go into his nationality. I am kind of thinking he might be Australian, but I'm not 100% sure on that either. Doesn't matter. So anyway, the crazy thing that struck me on this particular video is he's going on, and he's talking. He's actually being interviewed, and they're talking about the monarchy. You know, we're talking way back when, in the beginning of time when monarchs were ruling the world, or different parts of the world, and what really it's bizarre, and I'm even trying to piece it together as I talk to you. What he come up with is he was talking about the monarchy being from like another planet, and that they morph into these lizards. They're actually lizard people that morph into this human-like characters that we see them as. And according to him, what they've done was they've come to this planet, they want to control us as human beings. And they've done stuff to us to make sure that they have control over what we do, what we think, and it includes like the financial world. I mean, it's mind-boggling. And hey, I'm not gonna say this guy's crazy. I'm not an expert in this area. I just find it fascinating that he's come up with these theories, and if you listen to the guy, he feels strongly about this stuff. He really feels strongly about this stuff, and he's done a lot of studying, and has provided some very interesting theories that leads him to believe that this stuff is true. One of them, he went over like a lot of historical events that took place in the world over the years. And one of those events, which was not so long ago, was Nazi Germany and the genocide of the Jews. And according to him, this monarchy wants to make sure that they want to have less people, so they have more control. The less they have to control, the easier it is to control. Is basically where that goes. And that was one of the ways to drop the population in his theory. And now here's something else that's interesting. Now when you look up in the sky and you see the moon, okay, now check this out. His theory of the moon is that it is actually a hollow vessel that has a control system in it. This control system is somehow connected to Saturn, which is somehow altering what we do and feel and see right here on this planet. Okay, now that sounds bizarre. Maybe your head's spinning now thinking about this. I mean, it sounds really crazy. Now these people, these lizard people that are of the monarchy, so to believe, have somehow created this vessel to control us, to keep us from being able to use the powers that we naturally have, our ability to manifest things into reality, to keep us from being intelligent. And through some of this theory that he goes through, when you know, we're talking like controlling us through this control system, the moon, that we live in a holographic world. This is actually controlling what we see to that point where what we see is actually a holographic view that is created, and our reality is changed by this stuff. Okay? I don't know what you're thinking right now. I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. Is it true? Is it real? I don't know. I'm not an expert here, and I'm not going to judge anybody because that's not what I do. I don't judge people, especially somebody that's really studied this stuff. Somebody that really has a strong belief that this is what's happening, and he's not the only one that's saying this, okay? But he's just somebody I've learned about and run across that I'm telling you about. And through some of this mental control, he links it to like our water supply, for instance. There's chlorine in our water supply, and there's fluoride in our water supply. Both are cancerous. Okay, they're not good for you. But the crazy thing is, now we're talking about the fluoride. Okay, fluoride has a way of weakening our use and our ability of the pineal gland, which is part of the brain. The pineal gland is what works our imagination. It's what works a lot of, our functions of manifesting things to reality. And by being able to control this, they're able to control our imagination, making us dumber, and which makes us easier to control, of course. So, and that's one of his theories. And well, it's a fact, though. The fluoride does this. This is, this is real. This is a reality. Fluoride is hazardous. Especially fluoride is hazardous in young boys. Fluoride has been known to be very cancerous in young boys. I've heard brain cancer. Somehow it's caused cancer like in limbs. If you've ever seen young boy amputees, that there's a possibility that has something to do with fluoride. Again, I'm not an expert here. I'm just saying what I've heard. But again, going back to all this and David Icke, it's very interesting theories. Very, very interesting. I want to read more about it. I'd like to learn more about it. It takes a lot of things to the next level of wow level, actually, is what I call it, because I've done a lot of reading of like Greg Braden, and I really like Greg Braden, and I like his philosophy, his theories, his psychology. He's awesome. But this takes, Greg Braden is right here. This goes like, okay, here's another level of something to try to understand that's, maybe I need to understand, Braden better before I can try to understand Icke. Of course, there's probably a lot of people say David Icke is crazy. This is a lunatic, speaking. But he's saying, he studied this stuff. And he's showing some pretty interesting evidence. I've never seen the lizard people thing yet, but he's showing some pretty interesting evidence that this could be true. This could be real. He's got some books out there. He's got some videos. What you may want to do is go watch some of his videos yourself. Think up your own mind. I'm not going to say yay or nay on this. I do agree with some of the stuff he says, but some of the stuff it's kind of sketchy. But if what he says is real, that we live in a holographic world, then what is reality is not really even reality. It's not even real. So, and most of us, we judge things by what we see, feel, taste, and and all this stuff. So if that's true, then none of this is real. This video isn't even real. I'm not real. Well, I'm real. Spiritually, I'm real. But this book, this paper, all this stuff, that's not real. It's just part of something else that was created for us to see. So anyway, I thought this would make a very interesting little video to talk to you on tonight. And you know, like I said, you know, if you like this video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. And why don't you go check out my blog? It's also below this. You can go straight to my blog and read about what I've talked about. And you can get to his website off my blog if you're curious. So I appreciate your time. I really enjoyed making this video for you because I just find this stuff interesting. You know, bizarre stuff like this is very interesting. And you know, whether you believe it or not, hey, that's up to you. It's your call. So I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. I will talk to you later now. Bye.